Right, can you say hello?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our day. Good morning, people. Give me my baby girl. Soph's got her and the baby girl over there. Today, so far, has been rough for me. Soph feels like she's got a cold, but we don't know if it's a cold or if it's... Well, that was cute. Hang on. Had a hair in my mouth from Alba. We don't know if it's a cold or if it's the amitriptyline making her feel like it, because the amitriptyline can do that too. Yeah, Mum. And this morning I think I had a cyst burst, because 1 minute I was fine, dandy, able to move around, and then the next I was in excruciating pain. For those who don't know, I have polycystic ovary syndrome. Oh, and some months I'm completely fine, and then other months I get this sudden searing pain in my pelvis, and a little while later it's just then gone. And when that happens, it's basically a cyst has appeared and it's burst. Ain't that right? I think since I've been 18, so 10 years, I think I've had about 9 cysts, and one of the ones I've had hospitalized me for 10 days, I think it was, and I was on morphine drip and everything, and they are just not pleasant. And this morning has been pretty horrific. I said to Sophie that I can sit up, I can't sit up at this certain point, otherwise it just makes it so much worse. So I had pain meds, and we're just praying that by the time I wake up, yeah, Mum, it will have gone completely. But we shall see. Yeah. Good evening, people. So this morning I told you guys about me having a cyst on my ovaries and the excruciating pain that it was causing. So I figured whilst I was just settling into bed tonight and getting everything ready to do my meds, I'd explain what polycystic ovary syndrome actually is. So I've gone online to get a description so I can be as accurate as possible. And basically it's a condition that affects a woman's hormone system. So they tend to have higher than normal male hormones, so testosterone, and unfortunately that imbalance can cause missed periods, no periods altogether. It also can cause multiple periods in a month. The worst I've ever had it is that I would have a period for about 5 days. I'd have about 3 days off, and then I'd go back on for 5 days, and then 3 days off again, and back on for 5 days, and it went on for about 2 years, and it really made my asthma worse as well, because for people with asthma, having a period and having that increased hormone can actually set your lungs off, and it was putting me in hospital literally over 2 weeks. It was awful. But alongside having the problems with your periods and stuff like that, it can then cause issues with getting pregnant because you don't have a regular cycle. It can also cause miscarriages, which Sophie and I think, and my mum think, and the doctors think that that's what's caused the 2 miscarriages that I've had when I've been pregnant. For me, my PCOS is hereditary. My mum had it, or has it. No, had it because she's had a hysterectomy. She also suffered a miscarriage. She also had to have a hysterectomy by the time she was 29. I'm 29 next month, and for my mum, she was obviously able to have 2 children. After she got pregnant with my sister, she was adamant she never wanted just one single child, because some children, when they're a single child, they don't do as well as when there's a sibling. And my mum's a nurse and she used to work in a NICU and things like that, and she was just determined she wanted 2 children, but for her it was really dangerous, and her getting pregnant with me actually nearly killed her. Not only that, but whilst Mum was pregnant with me, the 5 days before she gave birth, she also hadn't felt movements for 5 days, but she was so scared to go to the doctor that she just didn't tell anybody. And I urge you, please, if this happens to you, if you don't feel your baby move for any length of time that's not normal for you, please go get it checked out. There's a thing now called Count the Kicks, and I highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the description, because the charity Count the Kicks, they actually, I think they sell them, can't remember now, but they sell little bracelets that has a little slide thing on there, so every time you feel your baby kick, you move the slider up one, and it allows you to remember to keep counting, and then it can remind you that if you've not felt enough kicks, to go get seen. So please, if this is happening to you, Sophie and I urge you to go and get seen. Luckily, I was okay because I'm here, but with my mum having not gone and got help, there could have been a high chance that I would not have been here. So other parts of PCOS, they've got here, it can cause extra hair growth on the face and body. Sometimes in the right light with me, you can see I get like, I don't know if you can see it now, but I've got quite a hairy face here. Thankfully, me being fair, you can't see it all that well, unless it gets caught in a certain light. It can also cause baldness. So you might have heard Sophie and I turn around and saying about me having really thin hair. Well, I have had it, and I manage it quite well now because I can figure out ways to hide it. But on the sides of my head, if I've got my hair in a certain way, I've actually got patches where I've got no hair. And that's been for as long as I can remember. Mum said even as a child I had bald patches. It can also cause long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. And most people with PCOS, because of the hormone imbalance in the way things are, they have diabetes. My mum has it, and she's been on metformin. I don't remember a time that she wasn't on it, and she's still on it now. So she's got type 2 diabetes now, and that's because of her PCOS. She also had diabetes when she was pregnant with me and my sister, which that can happen with any pregnancy, but it's heightened with people with PCOS. You can have it controlled by contraception and as in the pill, depot injection, what's the one in your arm? Oh, I've had a mind blank. Yep, completely gone. Apologies. I was on the pill, but I was getting these horrific migraines, worse than my normal, and I didn't know at the time, and my old GP hadn't looked after me very well, but I was on the verge of having a stroke, because the problem with some people with the pill, it raises your blood pressure to an extremely high level, and that happened to me, but I hadn't been monitored, and I had been on the pill for I think it was 5 years without being monitored. And it was only when I was getting these migraines that were so debilitating, and they were not my normal migraines, and I went and got help, and I went to a family planning drop-in clinic, because it was on the weekends and it was just getting too bad, and they were actually able to help, and they told me about all these dangers that PCOS and the pill and things like that can cause. So there's that one as well. Most people, PCOS affects them, they say here, between 15 and 44, and that's basically, it's because it's the time of when puberty starts and then when menopause starts, so it's kind of that age bracket between them. Sorry. So I was coughing so much I had to stop. Another thing that PCOS can cause is cysts on the ovaries. Some people have huge clusters of cysts. For me, I have, like, my ovaries can be completely fine, and then, like this morning, I will get this excruciating pain that is just so painful, it's unbearable. And for me, when I get that pain, basically it's because for that moment in time, the cyst has actually burst. That can be quite dangerous, and as I said this morning, the last time I had an excruciating one and the pain didn't let up for days, I was in hospital for 10 days on a morphine drip. Thankfully, the one I had this morning subsided, so obviously we didn't have to go to hospital, but they can be really bad. And I've also had it where once the cyst has burst, I've then had fluid in my pelvis, and that too is extremely painful. So if you suddenly start getting pain in, like, your pelvis area, and it's definitely not your period or like pelvic inflammatory disease, if you know you've got that, which you can get from STIs and stuff like that, I really recommend going to get checked out, because it can cause long-term damage to your ovaries. My right ovary is the one that is the only one that ever gets a cyst, and my right ovary is also hidden, so every time I've had a cyst, when it goes to examination and I've needed internal ultrasound scans and things like that, it's so painful, because they are literally trying to hunt around for my ovary. It is there, it's just hidden. So, like I said earlier, mine is hereditary. From what I know, alongside it being hereditary, you can also get PCOS from high levels of inflammation in your body that's been there for like a little while. Short-term high levels of inflammation doesn't normally cause it, but high levels of inflammation does. So for me as well, I have lots of autoimmune diseases. I also have primary immune diseases, which all cause inflammation. So that contributes to it as well. And I think that being insulin resistant can cause PCOS as well. So if you are like type 1 diabetic and your pancreas isn't producing insulin properly and you need to use insulin, stuff like that, that can cause it as well. Because insulin is a hormone, if your pancreas isn't producing insulin properly, if it's producing too much, then those extra bits of insulin can actually trigger hormones to become higher as well, which then can create your ovaries to release lots of eggs, and also create lots of follicles, which then can grow cysts and stuff like that. So those are the 3 things that I know can cause PCOS. I'm not sure if there's any others, but these are just the ones that I got told when I first got diagnosed. So that's some of the symptoms of PCOS is irregular periods, really heavy periods, extra hair growth, weight gain, and that's mainly because of the whole issue with the insulin. The way, like, if you need to eat more to keep your insulin up, or if you've got insulin irregularities, then that can cause the weight gain as well. It can cause really bad acne. What else is there? I'm trying to think what else it is that I've had growing up as a kid. I think they were the main ones. And migraines are linked to it as well. Duh. Some people just get really bad headaches, some people get cluster headaches, and some people get migraines, and I'm one of the ones that get migraines. So some of the things that can be affected by PCOS is infertility because of the issues with your periods and stuff. You can get sleep apnea because of the different hormones that get released overnight, and obviously it can with gaining weight, that can trigger it as well. Depression is also a side effect of it, and metabolic problems also get caused by it, so high blood pressure, high or low cholesterol, and obviously then the insulin with the pancreas. So that's basically what I know about it from me personally. It's not a pleasant condition, unfortunately. If your PCOS is causing infertility, it does allow you to have infertility treatment on the NHS. We have been down that route, but because I'm overweight, they won't accept me, which is a bit of a pain considering weight gain is the side effect of PCOS. Plus I'm on steroids. So yeah, if you think you might have any of these symptoms or problems, then just go to your GP and mention it. If you're having really bad problems with periods, don't be afraid, go to the GP. We've done vlogs as well about heavy bleeding as well, because Sophie's currently having problems with that side of things as well. She might have endometriosis, her sister has it as well. We are currently just waiting for an appointment with the gynecologist for Soph, but you're welcome to ask any questions. Look back in our vlogs and see the vlog about heavy bleeding and the sorts of pads and pants that we wear. So yeah, just look through our vlogs. We're an open book, ask us questions, we talk about absolutely anything. And yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell, or 20 minutes of a nutshell. But tomorrow is ASMR with Gizmo, and come and join us then. So thanks for coming on to stay with us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.